Hello, thank you so much for joining me again. I've tidied the conservatory, having just recorded about the seats, put the seat back in place so I'm actually able to sit with my feet up in comfort once again. And I came across something that Rudyard Kipling had said many moons ago, and it led me to thinking. But what he said was, and I quote, "I keep 6 honest serving men. They taught me all I knew. Their names are what and why and when and how and where and who." Not quite sure of the concept of 6 serving men, and yeah, but the concept of the questions, that's an important one. Brings back fond memories of when my granddaughter, who is now a 20-year-old, was being taken round an antique fair, sitting on shoulders and constantly pointing, "What's that? What's that? What's that?" Yeah, some of the things were easy to explain, but others, as you can imagine at an antique fair, difficult to explain to a toddler. So I have a feeling that maybe diversionary tactics came into play, as I am sure they did in another scenario where Ofsted inspections were new, and a friend of mine was having her first Ofsted inspection, and she had explained to her secondary aged pupils that there would be people visiting the classroom and for them to just act as normal, you know, please be responsive, please ask questions, answer questions when I'm teaching you. Yeah. So whether this particular boy wasn't at this briefing, I'm not sure, but when one of the inspectors had positioned himself at the back of the classroom, this young man shot his hand up, and my friend was delighted that this pupil was wanting to ask a question, because I don't think he usually did. But then the question was, "Miss, who's that old beep 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 at the back of the class?" Yeah, not an easy one to answer, apart from a simple explanation of the role that this gentleman was providing. But she said, you know, she went, "Oh, great, a contribution to," oh no. But those questions, they are vital. We learn by asking questions. Children, as my granddaughter did, learn by asking those questions. I mean, I still ask questions now. I question myself all the time. I have to stop myself when I get to the "why on earth did you do that" stage. Then it can become a bit of a slippery slope syndrome. But if I put a spin on it, and "why on earth did you do that," with the eyebrows raised and a chuckle in my voice, then I'm more willing to A, accept what I've done, and B, maybe consider what on earth caused me to do it. So we do ask ourselves questions. Sometimes it's, how on earth did I manage that? And we as humans do seem to get amazing strength from places within us when we're in adversity. And the recent earthquakes in Turkey and Syria, I wonder what questions those people who were buried for several days, some of them, what questions were they asking themselves? Who will be around to rescue me? When will I be rescued? Questions that they probably couldn't come up with any answers, but rescued some of them were, which was amazing. But children, who, what, why, when, where, yeah, all the time. And it can be annoying, but it's their way of learning, because it's something that they're curious about. If they weren't curious, they wouldn't have asked the question. So even more important to take a breath, stop what you're doing and answer their questions. Answer them to the best of your ability. But if you can't, don't tell fibs. Say, do you know, that's a good question. I don't know. Let's go and look it up. Let's Google it. Let's find out the answer. It's good that they learn that adults aren't infallible beings, that we too have to resort to finding out the answers to our questions. They're not always on the tip of our tongue. So on that note, my question is, if you haven't already done so, please, will you give me a like? Will you subscribe if you haven't done so? Will you share what I've said? And maybe, why on earth are you listening to this old biddy? No, I hope that's not one that you can come up with an answer to too readily. This biddy's trying her very best. My very bestest, that's what I'm doing. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for joining me. Take care, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.